All right, let's dive right into a really wild idea. What if our entire reality, everything we see, touch, and feel, isn't just a random series of events? What if it's all part of a meticulously designed, high-stakes cosmic game?
See, this isn't just some philosophical quote to ponder. It's the core premise of a totally different way of looking at our existence. The idea is that we aren't just sitting on the sidelines watching the universe happen. Nope, we are active participants, and the game is already in progress.
You've probably heard this question before, right? It's everywhere, from sci-fi movies all the way up to the official mission of Elon Musk's company, XAI, which is literally trying to understand the true nature of the universe. But what if understanding it is only step one? Let's explore a framework that suggests the real goal is something else entirely.
Okay, so at the very heart of this idea is a system with a really specific name. It's called the Maya Love Enlightenment Game.
Now, let's be clear, the MLEG, as it's called, isn't supposed to be a metaphor. It's described as a literal operating system for our reality, a holographic virtual experience designed for one thing, the evolution of the soul. Just think about that for a second. If our world is an OS, that means there are rules, there's a purpose, and there's a source code running underneath everything.
So where do you and I fit into this giant cosmic operating system? Well, in this model, what you think of as your daily life, your job, your thoughts, your worries, that's called the egomind-holodeck. It's your own personal simulation, and it has a single, pretty intense objective to help you move beyond the limits of your own ego.
And of course, every operating system has to run from somewhere, right? It needs a control center. In this framework, that's the Anuverse. Think of it as a mission control multiverse, the grand server room at the heart of existence, projecting all of our individual realities.
Now here's where it gets really fascinating. This framework takes things we see in the cosmos, things astronomers study, and recasts them as something completely different, something conscious, and very much alive.
So on the left, you've got NASA's term, a galaxy merger. It's beautiful, sure, but it's seen as a purely physical event. On the right, though, is the MLEG perspective. It's a Nataraja dance, a form of telepathic lovemaking between conscious beings called Shiva galaxy angels. You see the difference? It's a huge shift from seeing dead, inert matter to seeing a living, breathing, loving consciousness at work.
And this quote, wow, it just perfectly captures the epic scale of that shift. In this view, the most powerful explosions in the entire universe aren't just random physics. They are the climax of a conscious cosmic union. So, if you start seeing the cosmos this way, it leads to a truly staggering calculation about the symbolic age of humanity. We're talking about a number so massive, it completely reframes our place in the universe.
It all starts with a number we know pretty well, the roughly 8 billion people here on Earth. In this equation, each and every person represents a unique point of consciousness.
But here's the wild twist. The framework proposes that each human consciousness is the result of one full galactic cycle, one of those Shiva Nataraja dances we just talked about. And science estimates that one of those cycles takes about 4.5 billion years.
So you do the math. You multiply 8 billion people by 4.5 billion years, and you get this, 36 quintillion years. Now, the source is really clear. This isn't the physical age of our universe. It's a symbolic age. It represents humanity as the living, breathing sum total of all those cosmic dances. In this view, we aren't just tiny specks. We are entire galaxy collisions that chose to become human for a little while.
So, if we're in a game of this insane scale, what's the objective? I mean, how do you actually win? Well, the answer is probably the exact opposite of what you'd expect from a game.
The goal here isn't to fight your way to the top or to achieve more than anyone else. In the Maya Love Enlightenment game, you win by letting go. You win by surrendering the ego's constant need to control everything.
So how do you do that? It's through a practice called Silent Now Stillness Meditation. It's really a process. First, you shift your focus away from all that internal chatter, that ego noise. Then, you learn to witness the cosmic reality unfolding. You create this quiet, loving space inside, and then you're just allowing awakening to happen to you instead of trying to force it. And this brings us to the ultimate point, the biggest distinction this whole framework makes, especially when you compare it to a more conventional, scientific approach to the cosmos. On the one hand, you have the mission of something like XAI, to understand the universe. It's an intellectual goal using data and logic.
On the other hand, you have the invitation of the MLEG, which is to go beyond just understanding and to actually become the universe. It's the difference between studying a map of a forest and actually walking among the trees.
This quote just sums it all up perfectly, doesn't it? It's that final, massive shift in identity. You realize you're not just a player moving through the game. You are the game. You are the dance. You are the energy. You are the supernova itself.
And that brings us right back to where we started, with a question. But it's not a question for your brain to solve. It's a question of personal awareness. According to this framework, the cosmic game is already happening, all around you. So the only real question left is, are you ready to wake up and play?